First, help me understand the extradition process. These are charges that come from the UK, and how could Marco Rubio step in?
So there is a treaty between the U.S. and the U.K. And so what that treaty means is the U.K. is asking for them to be brought back to the U.K. for charges. Now, there's a judge that hears the case, and there's two key elements that the judge looks at. One is in regards to the charges. Now, are the charges something that they could be charged in the U.S.? And so such as sex trafficking, rape, assault, those are charges in the U.S. And so that requirement, that element is met. The second one is probable cause. And what that means is based on the evidence presented by the prosecutor, is there a reasonable basis that the defendants committed these charges and they are the ones that committed these charges as well? And so once that happens, if in fact the judge believes there's probable cause, then they could be extradited, but it can go through the appeals process. But before they're extradited, the Secretary of State, Marco Rubio, needs to sign off on the warrant. So if he doesn't sign off on the warrant, then they're not extradited to the UK.
I want to play for you and for the audience just a sense of how they talk publicly, because they are best known as commentators. And here's a sample.
It's about the fact that she belongs to him and the intimate parts of her body belong to him because they're in a relationship. And if she wants to sell those, he has a stake in those intimate parts of her body.
You can't slander me, because I will state right now that I am absolutely sexist and I'm absolutely a misogynist.
I think that there's a world of people who support Tate who say he's being gone after for his views and his political views, and that in particular can be harsher in the UK. How do you see these charges? What do they reflect about actual UK questions of crimes?
So when we look at the legal requirements in the UK of what exactly they're being charged with, they are being charged with rape, they are being charged with sex trafficking, they are being charged with assault. We have to remember that these are serious charges. As someone that represents victims of sex trafficking and human trafficking, these are very graphic detail that they go through and they tell. And according to what has been reported, that these women assert that they have been choked, that they have been raped, that they have been beaten. Now, from the defense standpoint, they are innocent until proven guilty, and they're saying that they are being prosecuted because of their political speech. And that's definitely one of the arguments that the defense is going to make in regards to the extradition, that it's totally politically motivated, that it's a political job, and try and convince the judge that they should not be extradited.
So just to be clear, this extradition conversation really matters.
So to be clear, you want to see Barron Trump come before Congress and answer questions about his relationship with Andrew Tate?
I absolutely want to see Barron Trump come before Congress and answer questions about this. I mean, there is, reporting about this, and he should answer these questions. What is his relationship? What kind of communication have they had? What kinds of connections has Barron Trump potentially made for Andrew Tate and his brother? Has he had any conversations with other White House officials about this? These are all really important questions to be asking. Barron Trump has also, there's more reporting about him as it pertains to financial dealings and corruption. And this is not the only issue that I think Barron Trump needs to come before Congress for, but the Oversight Committee is really primed to be the place for him to answer questions. And I think it's important to remember that Barron Trump is an adult. He is a 19-year-old, I believe, maybe 20 years old now. He is, somebody who is deeply involved in Trump's orbit and this whole manosphere, and he has a lot of influence. And so he needs to be held accountable if he has committed any wrongdoing.
I'm glad you make that.
Absolutely. I could not agree more. Barron Trump is an adult. He's a full-blown adult, and he is very influential in the Trump White House orbit. I mean, we know from from the first administration and from this administration, that the Trump children play a very big role in the administration and policies that are passed. They benefit financially from the way the Trump administration operates and the self-dealing and the corruption that takes place. We know, very famously, Ivanka Trump also, who I think even as a grown woman gets the same kind of treatment, right? Because of her relationship with her father and the way Donald Trump talks about her. I think there are a lot of parallels to be drawn with the, Donald Trump, Ivanka relationship and the way he tries to, let her get away with her actions. It's the same with Barron and Melania. But Ivanka had a very big role in the first administration. Jared Kushner is still conducting foreign policy on behalf of the United States. Barron Trump has not only been influential in the campaign and connecting the campaign to the manosphere, which of course Andrew Tate is a major influencer in that space, but he also has, is similar to his brothers, undertaking in corruption, undertaking in investments and prediction markets and stock trading, that is to his own benefit while the administration takes away healthcare from millions of Americans. So we need to stop looking at them as though they're these like innocent, naive kids who, aren't part of any of this. They also choose the limelight. They choose to want to be involved with the campaigns. They choose to be involved with the administration. And therefore, if they are committing crimes or if they are engaging in activity that is against the law in any way, shape, or form, then they ultimately have to be held accountable for that.
Andrew and Tristan Tate are currently in federal custody in Florida after a court ruled they will remain detained while they fight extradition to the United Kingdom. The brothers, high-profile supporters of Donald Trump and self-described misogynists, we have photos of them we can show you, are prominent members of the manosphere who use their influence to promote male dominance. And it's allegedly more than just words, according to newly unsealed federal filings that detail the charges being brought by UK prosecutors between 2010 and 2017. The brothers are also accused of choking women, sometimes until they passed out, and then raping them. They also face accusations of trafficking women. Their attorney, Joseph McBride, says that Marco Rubio and the rest of the Trump administration are not fans of, quote, prosecuting people for free speech, and he hopes the administration will intervene.
All right, starting out small here. Let's conquer this first territory. Wait. They're sending massive reinforcements from every direction. We gotta hold this line. Oh man, look at those numbers climbing. Real strategy gameplay right here in action. But we're losing ground fast. Okay, time to pick a stronger civilization. And then, let's lock in Sparta!
We are, of course, objecting to extradition because Andrew and Tristan are innocent. They've never done nothing wrong. They shouldn't be extradited for crimes they did not commit. Politically motivated? I think any one of these trees or any one of these rocks could answer that question. Yes, it's politically motivated. There's no question about it.
This is not the first round of allegations. Romanian prosecutors have been investigating the brothers since 2022, accusing them of forming an organized crime group and trafficking women. Here they are. Andrew Tate also faced rape charges there, though a court threw out that case. Now the UK's Crown Prosecution Service says they're seeking extradition for the brothers. The question now is, will the Trump administration intervene like the lawyer wants? As the New Yorker reports, the Tates have an in through Donald Trump's sons. Andrew Tate forged relationships with Barron and Donald Trump Jr. in the weeks before the 2024 vote, as Andrew Tate pushed pro-MAGA content and helped mobilize young men in big numbers for Trump. Kamala Harris even credited Tate as a key factor in her defeat. And it was after Trump's inauguration that Andrew Tate predicted he would get past these charges, posting on X, quote, "The Tates will be free. Trump is the president." Since the election and inauguration, the Tates have been running in the same circles as other Trump allies. Just days before their arrest, the brothers were at a party for Paolo Zampoli, Trump's special envoy.
Crucial to Trump's, return to power. They were able to make strategic alliances with people in the Trump family, from Don Jr. to Barron Trump. We were able to show was communicating with Andrew Tate by Zoom as recently as 2024 when the presidential race was going on. They talked about the criminal case against them in Romania at the time and how they both agreed that it wasn't substantial or wasn't legitimate. The Tates have also made alliances with Trump advisors from, Richard Grenell, who you mentioned, who was the special diplomatic envoy who discussed the Tates once Trump was after he was reelected, and then, entered his second administration. Grenell had conversations he wasn't just sort of publicly supporting the Tates, he was also having conversations with Romanian political figures about their case. And so it was, and they also had these, formed these alliances with people like Tucker Carlson as he was leaving Fox and trying to build his new audience and his new show. He went to Romania and sat down with Tate while he was first indicted in Romania. And basically, it was a very warm, friendly interview in which they actually misrepresented the criminal charges against him.